we are going to end here on a interview. Is it Atif in here? Yep. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. In fact, can I grab one more high top? Or one more? Yeah, let's grab one of those. Make sure I grab my updated questions here too. Make sure this is right. Sorry, one second, everyone. I realized I put this in the wrong spot here. So while I'm looking for this, I'm going to let Atif give a little bit of an intro, and then we're going to go into about a 20-minute interview, and then we're going to wrap up. So go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm not a prolific angel investor, so you're probably going to have to explain why you invited me. I'm going to guess, I guess, a couple things. One is, so I did meet Chris when I was the chief digital officer of McDonald's, and I've been in a number of C-suite roles, including president of MGM Resorts. And I made an entrepreneurial change, 3-4 years ago. So I'm now started a company called Ritual, which is, we think, one of the 100 most important companies in the AI space. We're pretty jazzed about what we're building. But I suppose because I've made, some number of maybe 25, 30 startup investments, and I'm an investor in I'm an LP in some venture capital funds. I suppose those are probably some of the things where you're going to ask me questions about what I've learned and my insights, right?
That's correct. I'm still trying to figure out these damn questions. But anyway, we're going to wing it. First question I have is, as a founder, what does it mean to you to have early checks? What does it mean to have angels come in on your business?
Well, angels have demonstrated a little bit of blind faith, and you need a little bit of blind faith to get oxygen as an entrepreneur, right? So you're looking for a little bit of signal from people who won't ask you, 45 due diligence questions. They'll probably focus on the main thing, Ben Horowitz always says, make the main thing, right? And that's really probably at an early stage, three or four critical things. And so you're looking for believers, people who are not blind because they need to hear some things or observe some things from you in order to unlock that commitment. But they're not looking for everything, right? And that's a certain type of human being, because we don't have time to provide certainty, And so you're really looking for that.
Do we have our second mic, by the way, just so I don't have to keep passing it?
And Chris, would you mind maybe just kind of, because I feel like I'm not a prolific angel investor, so why did you ask me here?
Oh gosh, it's pretty easy. So I'll tell a quick story. I got an intro. Is Andrew in the room? Oh, he might not have come. I got connected to Atif. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Atif.
Atif. Okay, I thank you. I got introduced to Atif through Andrew Gunderman, who I had heard of and I sort of knew loosely. And this was one of those, you get a lot of deal flow kind of stuff. And the name sounded vaguely familiar. So I Googled and I went, oh my goodness, this was the guy who helped T-Bot get into McDonald's. And I verified that with Raymond, who's the founder, and I said, I'm going to take this conversation. I'm really aggressive, as I said. I'm aggressively trying to not look at new opportunities, but sometimes they sneak through, and this is one of those examples. And I'd heard just fantastic things about Atif from Raymond previously, and I thought his background was really interesting. So I was just very interested. I'm curious, what is this guy like? He's got a very diverse background. What is he building? And when I heard him talk, I was like, wow, this is the kind of person that we need. I didn't even know you lived in Chicago. So we need to bring these people that we have that are kind of in the shadows in our city, like out and help them talk to a community. So that was my biggest goal. But you've also, like, you got to say some of the startups you've invested in, because these were like, I have not invested in these startups.
Well, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be an early investor in companies like Anthropic, SpaceX, Liquid Death. Anyone know Liquid Death? One of my earliest checks. And then some companies I think you'll hear about in the future. But companies like Liquid Death are interesting to me. I think they come to me really from my network, and I reflect on, hey, well, what made this like a good bet? So in the case of Liquid Death, right, trying to build a CPG brand, I think the founders and early investors were really kind of making a bet on distribution, that you could build like the first CPG brand native to social, right? Because they didn't need any traditional distribution to really hit a certain level of scale or awareness for their brand, and I think that was their core hypothesis. We'll talk more about it, but when I look at investments and being a founder myself, I really think of it as kind of disambiguating a series of hypotheses, and I think this is how good investors think. So for example, let's say you have a company and they're asking for a check. Well, what will this check help them learn? Not in general, but very purposefully. So for example, if the company says, this is enough money for us to figure out if we can attract channel partners, how those channel partners would integrate us into their product, their experience, or their way of doing business. And it would also illuminate like, what's the value that's created in that integration? Then that's a bet worth making. It's not about whether it works out or not, because sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. But I think as an investor, especially in the early stage, I think you really want to get a sense from the entrepreneur on what are they trying to learn with the capital that they're raising, and will the juice be worth the squeeze if it pans out? If it does pan out, like what could that mean? Could this really elevate the company to the next level?
I found the question, so we can go back on screen. Wait, did you guys hear that?
All right, I mean, you were pretty professional for most of this, so you get a little bit of leeway on the back end.
And it ended up in an email, and I was like looking through my sent emails, and it was not in my script. So apologize for being so unprofessional here. But I really like this question. I think we asked this earlier on the founder panel, so I really want to give it to you as well. You're both a founder and an angel. How do you think being one has made you better than the other, and vice versa?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think obviously the answer is because you need a little bit of discipline on how you spend your time as founders and as startup people, right? So what are you looking to accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months? And just brings a very simple clarity to that, I think, is very powerful. And that's something that would work for an investor. So in the example I gave, which is like, with the amount of money that you're raising, which provides 18 months runway, what are you looking to achieve? And the answer is not, oh, we're looking to open up 5 stores or acquire 2,000 customers. I mean, this is not Shark Tank. That's not the way you build high growth, high velocity startups. It's literally by disambiguating things towards a market. We all know it's probably a big TAM if it works, and you're working your ass off every day. So we know those 2 parts. But what are the next 2 things you need to learn in order to really fit that market and be the #1 breakout company in this marketplace? So as a founder, if I understand that's the investor perspective, that provides me a little bit of clarity. Now I can organize a lot of what the team's working on against that. I think that's more purposeful way of building a company than, hey, we need 18 months of runway to open up 4 more stores or something like that.
Yeah, it's so important. You could be doing a lot of other things with your money and time. Why, even if you don't do as much, why do you do Angel? I mean, the amount that you've done, you've got some pretty great companies in there. Why do you do it?
Well, I love building personally, and you don't have to love building, to participate, right? And that's what investing at this early stage allows, right? Building is like oxygen. Most people don't have it because they don't like their jobs. they're too risk averse to be entrepreneurs, so what do? You know, you can support builders and allow more good ideas to flourish. It's a ton of oxygen to be involved with things that are working. And it's really additive to your life. You feel great. I mean, more good ideas will flourish. To be part of that train is very powerful. And as an angel, you know, you're taking, you're there when the crowd is not there, right? You're seeing something maybe people don't see. You're doing your homework, but you're not as discriminating. Like you don't need, you know, like I said, a due diligence. This is not a private equity thing with a due diligence. You know, you're looking for the 2 or 3 main things to be present, and you're willing to, you know, provide commitment on some degree of faith.
You've rattled off some pretty cool names of companies. Any cool stories associated with any of those? Maybe how you found them or anything to do with any of those companies?
Yeah, I mean, one of my best investments is a company called Salad and Go. It's not in Illinois.
Phoenix.
What's that? Phoenix, there you go, they own Phoenix. Yeah, if you go to ASU or a school like that, you know, that's where you eat at, you know, 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. And the reason why you do that is because organic salads for like $7.99, and if you add protein, it's like $9.99. So it's a great deal, right? They kick Sweet Green's butt. Yeah.
3x that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, that'll hurt your wallet for sure. So how did he come to me? Well, I was mentoring at Columbia University Startup Lab, and I was like, hey, I got a slot from 12 to 4, fill it up. So I went there and I met 7 companies and I gave them my best feedback possible. And then I gave them my business card, and then I let the chips fall where they may. Because I was running an experiment to see how many of them would actually follow up. Because if someone offers you follow-up time, you know, you should probably take it unless they're like an idiot and they're not going to be helpful. But hopefully I didn't come across as an idiot. 2 did follow up, and 1 led to Salad and Go. At the time, Salad and Go had 5 locations, and they said, hey, you know, this guy might know a little thing about franchise restaurants and building, you know, a brand and technology and all that good stuff. And we're doing an investment round. It's our first round. Do you want in? And I looked at who else was involved, and I said, hey, this might be a good calculated bet. It worked out. And of course, you know, in hindsight, everything looks great. They have 150 locations now, so that's a pretty good investment. But it starts with the ethos that you're trying to bring, Chris, which is giving, which is it's an unconditional investment of time. We're not looking for anything. We're saying like, I'm here, I'm fully present, 30 minutes, what can I give you? What part of my brain, my network, you know, that's where it needs to start.
I love that. It's a good reminder. It also goes back to Zor's, Zor, right? Okay. It goes back to Zor's question of how can you get involved and just figure out what do I have that I can give. Do I have time? Do I have relationships?
Yeah, well, even T-Bot, which you know you're a big part of. So I'm at McDonald's, and they're very closed-minded when I got there.
Not T-Bot, McDonald's. T-Bot's very open-minded.
They're not anymore, but like we put a sign up that says, you know, we're open for business. So who wants to talk to us? We've got this surface area of 10,000 restaurants. What should we do with them? And who wants to talk to us? So we're open for startups, and then we put, you know, 15 people in the Bay Area, and T-Bot came up on the radar. And robotics, you know, more personalization with tea, higher quality product. You know, sure, let's take a look at this. So we weren't ready to put it in the restaurants, but I said, look, let's just put it in corporate. And that's what we did, and it happened like that. And it's just because, you know, you never know. At that time, T-Bot was not looking at the corporations or the enterprise market, but we said, hey, you know, if we can give them a leg up, an opportunity to learn, and we get a better employee experience because you get this like cool tea that's made for you, maybe that's a win-win. It's a small give, to be honest with you. I mean, you guys did it pretty much. You probably didn't make a ton of money or anything like that, but maybe the logo helped you, right? And I think those are the kinds of things that ways in which you can unlock some opportunity.
That's a great example. It's some of these are not heavy lifts that you can do to provide startups that really make a big difference. Unfortunately, Atif left McDonald's, and so did the T-Bot after that. So we lost our champion. That's a good lesson for the founders in the room. Like, make sure you don't just have one champion, meet other people inside of the organization. There's always turnover. So this is a fun question. Of all the venture scale businesses that have been started, past or present, which one would you like to have been first check-in and why?
I mean, of the ones I've done, it would be Liquid Death, and I was ready to be their first check, but I couldn't due to conflict. So I was running a major company, and my friend who's the institutional investor said, hey, we want to get into Las Vegas, and I said, look, I'm happy to help you. We got this crazy contract with Coca-Cola, and they do everything related to water here, but I'll try and get you the opportunity to make the pitch, right? I couldn't personally invest because that'd be a conflict, and I chose to help my friend rather than think about some angel investment. That's not the point. So if I could have, I would have. But I moved on from there, and then I got in, not too far after I left. So it was still a great investment for me. But that is a gargantuan. It's already a very highly valued company. It's going to be a gargantuan CPG brand, and it just goes to show that marketing does. You can build a company on marketing, genius marketing.
I mean, it is just water, right?
It's demon water, right?
It's demon water. I don't even know what that means.
It's the kind of thing that says, I'm here, and I don't really care what you think about me. And
water.
And water's besides the point. It's basically saying, I don't really care what you think.
It's a lifestyle brand.
Okay, that's a better answer. Is there another company other than one that you invested in?
Oh my God, so many, right? Like, I would say.
This is like you can have, this is the angel version of you can have lunch with or dinner with any person, past or present. Like, would you be first check at like Apple or like Google or?
Yeah, I think, wow, that's a pretty crazy question. I mean, I think Stripe. Stripe is really interesting to me just because, you have a situation where, and by the way, I wouldn't say Figma, right, which just went public. I actually am pessimistic on Figma because I think their window is closing in an AI era. But I think Stripe is a very interesting company because they just build a product that sells itself. I mean, those are the best things. They don't really need marketing. They don't need a lot of sales force. It's just people have a problem, they pick it up, they grab it, and then they go. So they just made like this amazing Rubik's Cube that just does so many things for so many people. There's some real product genius in that company.
I'm going to go a little bit off script on the next question because I think your insights are really valuable in marketing and in product. And so instead of saying, the question that I was going to ask was, do you have some interesting lessons from your angel experience? But I'd actually like to open that up a little bit broader. Are there any, like, man, I've got this career and I've been at these massive companies, some overarching lesson, if you prefer?
Yeah, sure. I mean, of course I could tell you cliches about pivots. I mean, the thing I've learned about pivots is it's not 5, it's not 10, it's not 15, it's like a lot. It's more than that. So don't be shy about the number of pivots. I think my biggest regret, my first company, I built one of the first cloud software companies in the early 2000s. The 2 Stanford PhDs, we were very young. Same class as Larry and Sergey. I picked the wrong 2 guys. And by the way, investing was different back then. It was like, oh, you guys are under 30 and you have a big idea. Okay, here's 3 million, let's go. Now software development is so easy that you need to actually build something and show some validation, so it's a different ballgame. But I mean, I think I was like, man, we made 5 pivots. We're like, we did a great job, But that wasn't the thing. It was like, no, just keep going. If you need to make 5 more, go. I was too young to know that. And so I think, pivots is a big thing. We have a very accomplished investors here, and one person talked about this framework of feature, product, and company. I think of it as feature, product, and system. I think the biggest companies, probably what Stripe's really doing, is systems level thinking. Like, a product is not a system. A product is obviously a lot more than a collection, is kind of more than a set of features, right? But a system is something that's like, wow, the whole industry needs to like, this is like the operating system on the thing, you know? So entrepreneurs who have system level thinking but can get to first base, that is pretty awesome. I would bet on that every time, provided it's a big TAM.
Yeah, well said. We're going to wrap with one question, and it's definitely geared towards this room and to our local community. Why do you think it's important that we invest in our local founders?
Well, I mean, I would say, I'm kind of a coastal guy because I'm a native New Yorker and I'm 15 years in the Bay Area, right? So, you know, the Bay Area is great, you know, but people are kind of dickheads. It's all about like, okay, oh, only 100 million exit, oh, only, you know, oh, you didn't raise from Sequoia, I mean, it's kind of like, it's a little bit of that, and then, and where will that end, right? Like, that will never end. There will always be like someone who's at the next level, and so I think the motivations are not as kind of human, basically, a little bit selfish. So I think the differentiation in Chicago is the spirit that you're bringing here and the others have told through, you know, through the film. Great job, guys. I think that's very powerful, because in the end, you're probably, I mean, when you die, you're not going to remember your track record of angel investment. Oh my God, well, 50% died, and 1/3 hit the power law, and then I had 20x, right? You're not going to remember your number, 20x, 4.8x, or 1.1x. You're not. You probably will remember the people who actually think, who are grateful to you. You know what I mean? So investing in people, I think, is very powerful. It's very, very powerful. And so if you can do that and not lose your shirt and hopefully maybe get 5x and 10x, you know, that's the optimal here.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being here, Atif, and we welcome you to get a little bit, come downtown a little bit more and hang out with us.
I'm still wondering why you invited me, and if these people think like, what the heck does this guy know? He's not a prolific angel investor, but yeah, I mean,
Or you've got some insanely sick deals. All right, I'm not really an angel investor, just stop, you know. Anyway, okay, I'm not even, you're a pretty good angel investor. I mean,
thank you. Okay, like Mike Hampson, I think said a good thing about 10 to 15 years. I'm like 8, 9 years into it, so I'm kind of halfway. I don't know if I'm good. I have to see if the things pan out.
Yeah, we'll see if Elon can keep it together long enough. I think SpaceX is going to do okay, but I think you got a good list there. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. You're welcome.